I believe it's that time. I'm going to call the meeting of the May 3rd meeting of the Economic Development Authority of Carroll County to order. Let's stand and have our pledge and invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for the folks that you've brought here to do the business of this county. We pray that you'd give us direction and leadership. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Okay, the first order of business will be a closed session under Virginia Code, Section 2.2, 3711, A3, A5, and A8. Do I have a motion that we go into closed session? Sure.
Just to add a little bit of required language for the purposes of Freedom of Information Act, under A3, acquisition or disposition of real property by the public body. Generally, the discussion would be concerning the daycare property and project retail. Under A5, prospective business or industry, it would be to discuss EDA interest in providing possible economic development incentives and possibly a non-disclosure agreement for review. Under legal, it would be a briefing on discussions that legal counsel had last month with Appalachian Natural Gas regarding the asset purchase agreement, and I believe that covers it all.
Yes. Do I have a motion we go into closed session?
I'll make a motion we go into closed session.
I have a motion to go into closed session. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Unanimous vote. We'll go into closed session. I'll ask the public members if you will wait outside, and as soon as we're finished, we'll invite you back in. Thank you. Whereas the Carroll County EDA convened a closed session this date, May 3rd, 2021, to affirm the recorded vote on the motion to close the meeting in accordance with the Virginia Freedom of Information Act. Whereas Section 2.2-3711D of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by the board that such closed session was conducted in conformity with Virginia law. Now therefore be it resolved that the Carroll County EDA hereby certifies to the best of each member's knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempt from open meeting requirements under the Virginia Freedom of Information Act were heard, discussed, or considered in the closed session to which this certification applies, and only such business matters as were identified in the motion by which this closed session was convened were heard, discussed, or considered in the meeting to which this certification applies. And if each one of you would individually certify. Mr. Slate.
I certify.
Ms. Carter.
I certify.
Mr. Hall.
I certify.
Ms. McCraw.
I certify.
Mr. Collins.
I certify.
Mr. Sowers.
I certify.
And I certify. Okay. In closed session, Mr. Durbin, we had asked you a question. Has this board done anything illegal? And you gave us an answer, and I would ask you to give us an answer publicly as to whether this board has done anything in an illegal nature.
Mr. Chairman, I've spoken with county staff members who were involved in the hiring process. I am in the process of reviewing documents. I've not had a chance to speak with Mr. Gregson directly. I will do that and give him an opportunity to voice any concerns to me. But so far, what I'm seeing is no violations of law.
Thank you. Okay, the next item on the agenda is citizens' time. We'll open it up for citizens. I'm going to ask, we will limit your discussion to 5 minutes. If you have additional items, you can submit that in writing. You would state your name, and then each one of you would have 5 minutes if you would like to speak. Does any citizen want to speak? Okay, if not, we'll move on to minutes of our 3-1 meeting. You should have those in front of you. I will preface that by stating that there was some confusion on who was to prepare those minutes between the prior executive director and the new executive director, and unfortunately, we only have 2 minutes of the video and audio recording. So we have constructed, to the best of our knowledge, what happened. If you have additional information, obviously we can amend those minutes to make them more correct. Moving forward, I think our video and audio should be very helpful in the citizens of the county being able to determine what the board is looking at and what they're doing. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the 3-1 and 3-2 meeting of the EDA?
I'll make a motion to accept.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
A second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor of approving the minutes say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no.
No.
Motion is carried. Vote is 5 for and 1 against. Okay, the next meeting minutes would be the April 5th minutes. And I will entertain a motion to approve the 4/5 21 minutes.
Chair, I need to make one very minor correction.
Okay,
We don't typically have that much detail on the claims, but there is an item there that said that one of the extra things that was billed for that month was stamps and envelopes. I know it's minor, but envelopes were not included because they're on this, and I didn't want both sets of minutes to reflect that we're buying them twice. They were not on that.
okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes, and you can make it an amendment to strike envelopes, or we can approve it by striking envelopes. I think you've been informed as to the situation. What's your pleasure?
Mr. Chair, I'll make the motion that we approve the minutes with the one change of striking envelopes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes by striking envelopes. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The 4 or 5 minutes are approved unanimously. Okay, the next meeting minutes would be the emergency meeting held on April 12th. And you should have a copy of those. I would entertain a motion also to approve those minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we approve the 412 minutes as presented.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the 4/12/21 minutes of the EDA meeting. All those in favor, any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. The minutes are approved unanimously. We're working, we will do our best to get these out as soon as possible. One reason you did not receive those until this morning was we were doing work on Friday, and we thought we might include that work, but it didn't work out that way. But we will do our best to get those to you early so that you can review those. And of course, we have a video and audio recording. Okay, our next item is the treasurer's report. Ms. West, if you would give us your financial report.
Good. Can you hear me okay? I think the order on the agenda is the report first rather than the claims, so we'll do that.
Yeah, that's okay. Financial reports listed first and then payment of invoices, but as long as we do them both, we'll be okay.
Also, change in fund balance for April.
Hey, Sandy, will you pull that mic this way a little bit? There you go.
Is that better?
That's better.
I just don't want it right there.
Right.
Oh, that's all. Is that okay?
That's better.
Okay.
Can you hear her?
We started the month with $836,469. The revenue for the month was $75,054. This did include 2 payments from the county. As I explained last time, we didn't get the check in time for me to get it into the bank in time for that meeting since it was so early. So that is not an overpayment. That's just a catch-up from last month. For the expenses that you approved last month, the only thing unusual in the list would have been the incentives that was approved at the 412 called meeting, and that paperwork, does that come in? Can you hear that? Okay, I guess I just have to get on top of it whether I want to or not. It feels. No, that's fine. I don't mind. I don't mind. I'm not that used to having a look on my face, so it's kind of odd. Anyway, maybe it's the height. Does that work better?
There you go.
Does that work better? You still can't hear me?
It's going to need to be about that far from your mouth.
How's that?
Perfect.
Okay, and I will start back from the beginning. The funds balance at the beginning of the month was 800 and, okay, so now I'm having a problem with my bifocals. I can't look through my bifocals and be that close to the mic. That's all right, I'm trying. $836,469. I can do it like this. The revenue for the month was $75,054. There were 2 payments from Carroll County Public Schools, but this does not represent an overpayment. This represents the check from March also going into the bank in April. In the expenses, the only thing that was unusual, we had the typical expenses that are normally incurred for facilities and operations and some legal fees, et cetera. And this is where the postage and supplies was that I wanted to amend on. But also the incentives that were at the called meeting on 4/12 were approved to be paid, and I was requesting documentation from the treasurer's office. Did that come in?
No, I have not got it, no.
Okay, so we don't have that yet, but we are asking for the copies of the documentation that backs up that number. As far as the debt payments, everything was the normal monthly ACHs for USDA, for the fire truck loan, the bus loan, Carroll County note. On that one in particular, that amount was different just because of the thing that we explained last time about the credit that we were working off in exchange for rent. And there was one unusual item on there. We did submit the check to Virginia Tobacco Commission. This was for VPC, of which $248,473 is restricted. That is the funds that we have to restrict for the USDA bond. I'm sorry, not USDA, the bond for the Carroll County High School. And you will be, assuming you approve, committing to disbursements $52,345, which leaves operating funds of $757,468. Of those funds, $97,295 are restricted as designated for incentives, and that leaves us with operating funds available of $660,173. Any questions? Can you hear me okay?
Any questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the report.
Make a motion we approve the financial report as presented.
Okay. Is there a second?
I second.
Have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Report's approved unanimously. Okay.
Okay. For the claims this month, the first item that's on your list, the Erico invoice, I sent an email asking for backup to that. It was approved by the county, and then it was submitted to us to be paid by the EDA. It is for something at the daycare center. However, I don't know what it is. I don't know how to read what you can see on the invoice. It's got a SKU and everything, but I don't know what that actually is. So I sent an email to Ricky and asked him to send some kind of information on that. If you go ahead and approve that, assuming that that is a bona fide expense, I'll hold the check until I get that information, and then I'll report that to you at the next
Are you
meeting.
saying that's Ricky Dowdy?
Yeah.
So Ricky's not here anymore.
Okay, that's news to me. So whoever is getting his mail then,
Okay.
presumably. Yeah, I didn't know he wasn't
Yeah.
with us anymore.
I may be incorrect, but I think that may be the compressor for one of the heating units.
Okay.
But we'll
That would
wanna
make some sense
wanna
because the
verify
next
that.
two
But
items are
just for your
related.
information, that looks to be a correct number.
Okay. All right, well, we'll ask whomever in the county so that we do have at least a document in the file that represents that amount of money. And that would make sense because the next two items are apparently related to that. One is from CES for refrigerant solvent, and the other one is from CarQuest for acetylene and oxygen. So presumably that was part of that repair. The next item is the Carroll County loan installment on the IP building note. That's $10,606 a month. The next item is to Carroll County for their bill to us for mowing at the daycare, 2 mowings for $160. The next 3 items are, as you know, we have been paying the bills for the utilities. If we don't get the bill on time, we go ahead and put in an estimate because we're trying to avoid late fees. And so I have now gotten the March and the April bills for CenturyLink, which is for the fire alarm system. These little balances are the differences between what I estimated and what those bills actually came in. And then the May is, in fact, an estimate, and I went up a little bit. If you notice, that's a little bit higher than it has been because it has been coming in a little bit higher. So I went up a little bit on that, so we are paying that one in advance. And what you'll see on there, if you notice the math, I did note the March and April advances in the upper section, and then turn around and took those off in the lower section. So they net out to 0. The only thing you're actually paying is the $892 and the $488. Then we have the quarterly inspection that's required from Protec for the fire system, the sprinkler system over at the daycare, as well as some repairs. Apparently there was a pull station. When they did their inspection, there was a pull station that was not functioning correctly, so they replaced that. The next item is the Robinson Farmer Cox fiscal year 2020 audit item. That is consistent with the agreement that was signed. We do have a 3-year agreement with them for the audits. The next item is the Skyline National Bank installment for the Cana Rescue Building, which was for the takeover of the note as well as the remodeling that was done there. Next item is my bill for the month of April, as well as checks and envelopes. You have a receipt for that. I had to order checks and envelopes from Intuit. And the last 3 items are the ACHs to the USDA, one for the fire truck note, one for the new buses, and one for the buses, and one for the Carroll County High School bond payment. And this totals new claims of $52,202.91, coupled with the ones that were processed at the emergency meeting. And those are the first 2 items, which is why they already have check numbers associated with them. One was the VPC payoff, and the other one was the tax incentive for reimbursement. So together, the total is $110,464.
Any questions?
When did the 3-year agreement with Robinson Farmer and Cox start?
I think this is our first year on this agreement,
Okay.
I believe. That's standard procedure with them. They've done our audits now for a long time, but typically they were doing 1-year engagements, and they switched to a 3-year engagement. And I think that fiscal year 2020 was the first one. And of course, we're coming up on 2021 real quick since we close in June.
Right.
And then there'll be one more.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I'll entertain a motion to approve the payment of the invoices.
I just have a little bit of discussion here. I'm not totally on board paying this $811 bill without knowing what it is.
It's the compressor.
For sure? I mean, I know that we're assuming that, but it doesn't really specify that's what it is.
That's
I can hold it
fair.
until I get the paperwork.
I would feel more comfortable
Yeah.
until we're for sure that's what it is.
If you go ahead and approve it, I'll hold it until I get the backup paperwork. And if that is what it is, then I'll release the check. And if it's not, I'll hold it until the next meeting.
Okay, what's the pleasure of the board? You want to hold it? You want to pay it?
Can we just hold this and let it be in our next month's bill, our next month's packet altogether?
If that would need to be included in the motion.
I know, I'm just asking a
Yeah.
question. That is acceptable?
Yeah.
I'll have to collect all of your sheets because I'll have to change.
Okay, I would need a motion to approve the payment of invoices minus the $811.09 to ARCO for the daycare.
I make a motion that we pay the invoices as presented, except for the Airco $811 bill.
Okay, do we have a second? Do I have a second?
So you're saying you're gonna wait and pay this the next month after we have it in our
in
Uh,
June.
payment of invoice? Is that what you're requesting?
Well, that's what she was saying, is that she'd have to take our packets and redo it.
If, we can go one of two ways, whatever your pleasure is fine. I just wanted you to be aware that if you remove it, if we don't just hold it, if you remove it from this, I'll need to recollect all your packets and take it out as well as the cover sheet, because this does go into the IDA's permanent files, a copy of this, and I know y'all keep yours, so they need to be consistent. That's all I'm saying. And I'm fine, either way you want to do it.
Okay.
I will
Further
say,
give you some more information. If you would look at the AERCO bill, it's written in Little Tykes Daycare. It's from Christiansburg AERCO Supply. And it gives the number.
it also gives a ship date of March 19th, which is
Yep.
right around the time that we were looking into fixing it.
What time is it?
6.
Oh, I was gonna say I could try to call them while you're still in session, but I didn't realize it was that late.
Well, in light of if you look at the next two items, the only reason you need gas and Freon is because you're replacing an item on the heat pump.
I would make a motion that we let Sandy hold this until Donnie finds out for sure that that's what it was for. And then go ahead and proceed.
I think we have to deal with Mandy's motion first.
Okay.
Thought it went on.
Unless I have a second, it's going to die for lack of a second.
Right.
Do I have a second on Mandy's motion? Okay, it dies for lack of a second. Do I have another motion?
I make a motion that Sandy holds this invoice until Donnie is able to verify that that is a compressor at the daycare center. And then pay it. Right.
Okay.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to hold the AERCO 81109 bill until verification. If we receive verification, it would be paid. All those in favor say aye. All opposed, no. Motion is carried unanimously. The report approved as amended. Okay, our next item would be old business. Do we have any old business?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to revisit the offer we discussed last month that was from Moyer Beamer to rent a piece of property over in the industrial park. I've thought about it some more, and I think we ought to accept his offer. So I'd like to make a motion that we rent parcel 82-42-A to Moyer Beamer through 12/31/21 for the $200.
Okay, I have a motion to lease to Moyer Beamer the stated parcel for $200. Do I have a second to the motion?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to lease the parcel to Mr. Beamer. All those in favor say aye. All opposed, no.
No.
Motion is carried 5-4 and 1 against. New business, easement needed for the Woodlawn School. APCO had contacted me on Friday morning and wanted and emailed a easement request for the Woodlawn School. You should have a map. I met with their representative, and if you would look at the diagram, you will see the small rectangular structure. That's used to be the home economics cottage at one point in time. It was used for adult education or something of that nature. And then, of course, the Woodlawn School is to the upper portion. The line with the X's on it is the existing electric line. The dark line is what they propose to put in a new line. You'll see some concentric circles. Those are 2 trees that will need to be trimmed by the tree company or cut down according to your wishes. He said they would do, APCO will perform either one according to the wishes of the board. It does encroach on the EDA property a few feet, but it looks to me like it cleans it up. The 37810905A 30504 point is where they will place a transformer and the power will go into the back of the building. If you're familiar with Woodlawn School, the power now goes under the building, and that's not going to work. So they have requested an easement to relocate that line on the solid portion from the dotted portion with the X's. You can take a look. Is there any question? Take a look at that. If you have questions, I'll do my best to answer those. And if we need to, I do have the APCO representative we can call and get an answer to any question that I can't answer.
So we just need to approve the easement?
Pardon?
We just need to approve the easement?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, you would need to approve the easement and the ability for me to sign that easement.
Okay.
Everyone has a copy of the easement.
Yeah.
You'll notice it is written to the Industrial Development Authority. Of course, that's what the legal deed is still in the IDA versus the EDA. So yeah, I would entertain a motion to approve the easement and to give me the authority to sign that easement on behalf of the authority.
I make a motion that we approve the easement on tax parcel 81A 133A and give it the authority to the Mr. Chairman to sign the easement.
Okay, so do I have a second?
One second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve the easement and give me the authority to sign it with APCO. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion's carried unanimously. Just an item of information, if you'll notice under new business, hail damage. If you'll notice in one of your communications, there has been some hail damage at the child care center, and there may be additional damage on other properties that the EDA owns. So we will be contacting the insurance company and get an update on that, and we'll report back to you at our next meeting. I guess all of you are aware, hopefully you escaped. A lot of people didn't. Okay. Do we have other items of new business?
Chair, I have 2 additional claims.
Okay. Would you like to present those?
These were not in your packet because the email came in too late for me to redo everything. I have a check here for Carroll County Treasurer. The amount is $7,699.02, and as I would typically do with an additional claim under these circumstances, all the paperwork is here. I can show it to you. It will be included in the packet next time because none of this is in your numbers. This is for a bill from Carroll County to the EDA for both March, one for March and one for April, to reimburse them for the payroll costs for the executive director position that the EDA now has. The EDA does not have a payroll. We can't do that ourselves, so we do it through the county, and then we reimburse them for it. I just need approval so I can release the check.
So this will be included in your packet?
It'll be in all the numbers. It'll be like in the two that were at the top this time. That's where it'll be next time.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to pay the invoices to the Board of Supervisors and the Carroll County Treasurer.
I'll make a motion to pay these invoices.
Do I have a second? Have a motion and a second to pay the invoices. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Passed unanimously. Okay, any other items of new business?
Mr. Chairman, regarding option to, an opportunity for us to sell a piece of property that's owned by the EDA, I'd make a motion that we allow our chair and our executive director to enter into an option to purchase parcel number 68A4, which is 1.646 acres, providing that legal counsel has no objection.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a-
Oh, no.
Yeah, let me make sure we got the price right. Yeah, $180,000.
Okay. We have a motion and a second to sell 1.646 acres of parcel number 68A4. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion is carried unanimously. Okay. Other new business.
Regarding another piece of property, Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion that we allow the vice chair and the executive director to enter in an agreement to sell the parcel 82-1-1, which is 8.463 acres, more or less, with improvements, the price of $450,000.
Okay. I need to state that I will abstain from any action on this parcel due to a conflict of interest. I have a motion to allow the vice chair and the executive director to enter into a contract of purchase for parcel number 82-1-1 for $450,000. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay. If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Motion is carried unanimously with my abstention. Is there any other action or new business any member has?
Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to advertise for legal services for the EDA, Carroll County.
Okay, have a motion to advertise for legal services for the EDA. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to advertise for legal services for the Economic Development Authority of Carroll County. Any discussion? Okay, if not, all those in favor of advertising, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried unanimously. Any other business? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, I don't have any other business, but I do have a statement. If we could have some board member time that I'd just
Sure,
like to
be
read.
glad to.
It's been an honor for me to be called upon to serve as a member of this board for the past several years. That being said, I'd like to share a little bit of history of my time on this board. I was reluctant to accept the appointment because I had heard the term rubber stamp board many times, that that's what the IDA then was. So often I'd heard that I didn't want to waste my time sitting on something that would just be a warm body. I shared those concerns with two of the board members who had spoken to me about being on this board, and they assured me the reason I was being asked to serve was because they didn't want that either. They wanted somebody who would work with the business being carried out in the best interest of the citizens of Carroll County. When my time on the board began, our average monthly meeting time was about 30 minutes or less, with some meetings lasting no more than 10 minutes. I quickly had some concerns about the way things were being done, so I approached two members of the Board of Supervisors and asked for time for the Economic IDA, at that point, Economic Development Authority and the Board of Supervisors, to meet together so the boards could talk about what was expected of the EDA board. That time was never granted, but around that time we did receive a new board member, Ricky Thomas. Ricky was appointed and Ricky became our board chair, and Ricky brought this board to a place of actually serving the purpose for which it was appointed. Ricky went to work on a long-range plan with the hiring of it, within that plan, the hiring of an executive director, in order to have someone dedicated to bringing new businesses to the area, as well as knowing the needs and working closely with the current businesses. There were no longer any 10-minute meetings. Instead, we had meaningful meetings with people who were helping us to understand the economic opportunity and needs in our area. We often had 2, 3, and 4-hour meetings. After Ricky stepped down as chair, Larry Edwards took over the role of board chair, and Larry's done an excellent job of leading us productively and moving forward. Larry, I've appreciated your experience, your leadership offered to this board. Furthermore, Larry's done an excellent job, in my opinion, of leading us through the hiring process of the EDA director. The EDA has worked together with good conversation, valuable input from every member appointed to serve. There have been a couple of issues that seem to have been drawn out, but they've been solved as well. There have arisen some concerns on the latest issue of hiring the executive director for the Economic Development Authority. And in conjunction with the interim county administrator, who also served as the executive director of the EDA, and with a guidance from the EDA attorney, who also serves as the Board of Supervisors attorney, a candidate was hired. This person, Mr. Bryant, was hired by the overwhelming agreement of the members of this board, and the majority of this board still affirm our decision and have confidence in the person hired and currently working in this position. It's sad that we have now been painted as a troubled board and as an agency of the county who has done something wrong or unethical when none of this is true. We chose to work quietly behind the scenes to get the EDA to a place of functioning as it should, and we certainly don't need to go backwards. We have to move forward as a whole for this county. I want to go on record commending our former board chair, Ricky Thomas, for getting us where we needed to function well and conduct business for this county. And I want to furthermore thank our current chair, Larry Edwards, for leading us respectfully, professionally, and productively. Thank you.
We appreciate your comments. Anyone else has anything to say? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make the motion, we adjourn.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, no. Motion is carried. We're adjourned.